hear from His Grace Havi Prabhu, and then discuss about his glorious life. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you
I'm sorry
very
I
much.
interrupted.
It's all right. It's a treasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
One of the main lines, if not the most important line, that I find in this verse is, so one can ask, how can I satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? The first thing that stands out here is showing mercy to all living entities. And this is where I would like to focus or zoom in order to speak about sharing. Speak, say something. So I said to myself, you have to first of all call Prabhupada. Really? Are you going to call Prabhupada? Yes, if you want to speak to him, you have to address him. Okay. So I went, Srila Prabhupada, and he stopped. I said, yes. I didn't know what to say. I didn't expect this fast response. So I said, what is the meaning of the word Havi? Havi. And he said, what is that? Havi. What is Havi? Yeah. Oh, you gave me this name. I think it has something to do with sacrifice, or it says, oh, Havi. Havi. Havi is ghee offered in sacrifice. Thank you very much, Prabhupada. And we kept on walking. So I said, oh, he spoke to me and I spoke to him. It happened, but is this all? Or should I try again? So I said, Srila Prabhupada, when are you coming to Caracas, Venezuela? Where? Venezuela is South America. So he said, are you ready? And I said, the whole world is ready for you, Srila Prabhupada. So in this way, I established a connection with Srila Prabhupada. I was very nervous, but I did it. 1975, I asked permission to Hridayananda Das Goswami to go to Colombia. I started my preaching and my devotional life in Venezuela in 1972. Actually, in 1971 in Israel. I was born in Israel and I grew up in Venezuela. So 71, I met devotees in Israel, and I was quite impressed. Do you want to hear that story? Really? Okay. So I was convinced that spiritual life was the aim of life. My grandfather was an Orthodox Jew. He was a rabbi. He was very religious. But I didn't grow up with him. Still, I had connection with him, and I admired and loved him very much. He had a huge stash of books in Hebrew about the ancient Hebrew text. I asked him some questions. about life, about God. Answers were very nice, but I still was not totally satisfied. I needed more in-depth. He was very quiet and very silent. So he used to... So in one of these visits that I stay at his house, at his apartment, somebody knocked the door. And when I went out, opened the door, there was a very thin young man with long hair. And I said, hello. He said, yes, I was asking if somebody knows some Spanish-speaking people because I am coming from India and I'm going to Argentina where I live, but I don't have a place to stay. Is that okay if I stay here with you? And we said, yes, please, stay. I asked him, is that okay? He said, yes, please stay. To make a long story short, he was a very interesting fellow. He took the guitar and started to play the guitar in a very harmonious way. He was singing like middle Renaissance, in the Renaissance music in Europe. Those and I was very impressed. And then we started to speak, and then we ended up at the roof. We ended up at the roof, 2 o'clock in the morning, and he was speaking, and I was fascinated. And then at one point, he spoke about truth and reality. And I asked him, what is truth? What is reality? And he said, I know that my hands are made of water, and they cannot grasp anything. But one day, the seed of the tree of beauty will come into my heart, and the flower will be love of God. And I just looked at him. I said, I don't know what he's saying. Nice poetry. So we're going to sleep because I said, no, if this is the kind of answers I'm getting, then I'm going nowhere. So let's go to sleep. He had his sleeping bag. Solomon had his bed, I had mine. But somehow or other I asked him before we fell asleep. His name was Roberto. I said, Roberto, do you do yoga? And he sat down, he looked at my eyes and he said, yes, Bhakti Yoga. But don't ask me anything else. I said, okay. He could have said anything, Rumba Yoga and or Fufi Yoga. I didn't know what Bhakti was anyways. Next day, he was not there anymore. And I decided to go to my grandmother's house. So I go and walk to the bus station, and when I'm in the bus station, I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. Where's the bus? Oh, Saturday. In Israel, because of religious reasons, there is no buses Saturday. It would be nice in India if there is no buses in India Saturdays and Sundays. Anyways, so I said, okay, I have to take a taxi because no buses. So I walk, and as I walk to the main road, I found a kiosk that has magazines and sweets and newspaper, and one picture caught my attention. So I went near and I took the magazine and I started to read in my 3rd class Hebrew. And it says, Krishna is God. I said, oh my God, oh, another name, another tradition, another God. Oh my God, I don't want this. I fell asleep. I didn't go to my grandmother's house. I went to this house of this guy. It was 1 hour in a car. And it was amazing because he left me like 100 meters from the house, because there was a park in between, and I ran to this place as if I was going to see my mother or something. I was running and I was happy. There was joy in my heart, and I was saying, "Hey, what's going on with you? Why are you so happy?" I didn't understand. So I knocked the door, and when the door is open, there is this Dinesh Chandra from California saying, "Hare Krishna." And I said, "Hi." And I saw him, and he had some painting in his forehead. Strange. And then he had some hair, but not here. He had hair here. So I said, "Oh my God, where am I?" So he said, "Please come in." So so I came in, and immediately I got into a very mystical place, very beautiful environment with pictures everywhere and paintings and smell of incense. And I said, I like this. I said, so he said, "Please sit down." And I was looking the chair. There was no chair. You in the floor? Okay. So I sat on the floor, Then he gave some plate of fruit, and I was waiting for the spoon or something. He said, "No, we eat with the hand." "You eat with the hand?" Okay, so I started to eat with the hand, and I saw this picture of this young, attractive character in a painting. So I said, "Who is this?" "Oh, that is Krishna." "Oh. And who is Krishna?" "Oh, Krishna is God. He's the source of everything." "Oh. Are you serious?" I said, "Why?" "Well, everybody's looking for God under the earth, in the moon, in big scripture. You have hanging in your wall. How is it possible? I cannot take you very seriously." Until he brought the Bhagavad Gita. And the first thing he said, "Dahinosmin jata dehe kumaram juvanam jara tatra dehantara prapti dhiras tatra namuyate." First of all, I love the sound of that. And then, the soul is within the body, and then the soul goes through witnessing the stages of infancy, youth, and then old age, and then tatra dehantara, you take another body at the time of death. And I said, yes, because up to that moment, everybody was telling me that you have two choices: either there is nothing, or there is heaven and hell. But there was no reincarnation, and that makes sense. So I said, "Give me more, and give me more." And the more he was giving me, the more I said, "I will come back." Can I come back again? He gave me a book, Elevation to Krishna Consciousness. I saw that book yesterday in your table here, Elevation to Krishna Consciousness. It was my first book. Second time that I went, there was, he was the first one, his name Dinesh Chandra, he was the first one who recorded Srila Prabhupada's classes in 1965-66. He was the first one. Then there was Krishna Kanti, who was another devotee who used to do that in the 70s. But he's the one who did the original. So he had the original tapes, 7.5-inch tape. So they say, "You want to hear my spiritual master?" I said, "Okay." So he put the tape, and then he gave me the headphones. Vandeham Sri. I went. I remember that we celebrate Lord Chaitanya's birth. So this is my second day that I visit him. I didn't know who Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was. Now guess how many people were there? Give me a number. Come on. What? 100? 1. Me. I was the only guest. And there were like 35 preparations. And this is the first time I eat halava. My first encounter with halava. Halava ki jai. Because halava made me a devotee. And then we started to chant Hare Krishna, and then I was finished. I was finished. I got the books from Srimad Bhagavatam, the original ones, that they were divided, of the first canto were divided into several little books. And I took that to South America, and I started to speak to my friends and my colleagues. And eventually a temple came, and I became part of the temple. And we went to distribute books. And the way we distribute books in Venezuela was in the buses. I recommend you to try it. There are so many hundreds of buses in India and Delhi. It was fantastic because we had to stop people one by one. Hello, thank you. Here, this book, yoga, stress. Yeah, we use all these codes and all these names, and then they want to go away, and they say, no, thank you, no. You have to try again with the other one. Right? But when you go into a bus and you go, hello, ladies and gentlemen, you're sitting down here. You are mine. This book is the book from yoga, and I start to give the same speech, but to 45, 50, 60 people sitting down and some standing. And then we started to distribute 10, 15 at the same time. And then we went back from the bus out. And there were 45 buses coming to us, and every bus was like by Kunta. Instead of looking at the smog, the contamination, and no. For us was the opportunity. The opportunity. Or a bag of sweets. We offer the sweets, and we say, ladies and gentlemen, we need money to print books, and so on and so forth. Please take one sweet and give us sub-donation. In this way, we have managed to open the temple and maintain the temple in Colombia. So this, thank you. But my main point here is the book distribution. Just think about that you can actually, of course, buses sometimes in India, they're so crowded you won't be able to speak to anybody, right? So you have to be very selective. When to go, how to go, and see if this is too full, and then ask permission to the bus driver, or give him a book, or just a sweet, nice prasadam. And then you can speak, ladies and gentlemen, Hare Krishna. You can say Hare Krishna in Delhi. You're not a Martian in India. We were Martian. As soon as we came with brahmachari saffron into the bus in Colombia. Who is this? What is he doing? But in India, this is not going to happen. You can go and try do that. I recommend it strongly, because it's the same effort But instead of one by one, you have 35, 40, 50. And sometimes we had tricks, like if somebody says in the back, yes, 1 second, yes, we're coming with a magazine. So this was the experience of Venezuela and Colombia. I tell you one more story, and this story has to do with my first visit as a president of Columbia Temple to India, 1970. ¿Cuál era? 1975, Srila Prabhupada was there in Mayapur. We came there to buy kurtas and dhotis and japas and kirtans and mridangas and bring it to Colombia. But as I was with some of the elder devotees, I heard that Srila Prabhupada wanted to speak to the leaders. Do you follow? Srila Prabhupada wants to speak to the leaders. So I said, I am a president of the Temple of Colombia, then I should be a leader, right? I wasn't really the leader that he meant. He meant the top leaders, not the medium side. But I took that as I was the first one to arrive into Prabhupada's room. I went, immediately. I ran. And as soon as I got into Srila Prabhupada's room, I was at the door and he was sitting and he was just looking at his hand. Simply looking at his hand. Sometimes he put the hand down and go his head up. Very slow movements, very abnormally slow, as if he was in a dense, like he was in a dense environment. It is not natural for us to move this slow. And he was like that. And I saw him, I immediately gave obeisances. And I went to the corner of the room. Why? Because when the leaders, the real leaders would come, they were not going to, Havi, please, you have to go. You. I didn't want them to kick me out. So I went to the corner, far corner, and here we were, Srila Prabhupada and I in the same room. And Srila Prabhupada, we didn't speak. We didn't even look at each other's eyes. He was looking at his hand. And I couldn't even blink because that image of Srila Prabhupada was so particular, I couldn't understand. Eventually, the leaders came and they all sat in front of Srila Prabhupada. We're talking about 28 to 30 devotees, the real leaders of the temples. And everybody sat in front of Prabhupada and had the same attitude of mind. We all were just looking at him. Just looking at him. And Srila Prabhupada. And then suddenly the light went off. So Bhavananda and Jayapataka Maharaj, they had lantern, what? Kerosene lantern. And you know, when you have a little bit of fire, just a little bit, it moves, right? On each side of the room. And you know what happened? This is very artificial, these lights. But when you have two simple fire, what's the word? Yeah, a lantern with a little fire, the whole room became even more mystical and more beautiful, more deeper. At that time, Srila Prabhupada started to speak. So, what do they say? So at that time, there was a big controversy in 1975. Srila Prabhupada, they say we are brainwashing. So Prabhupada went back to his hand. And he said, we are not brainwashing, we are brain giving. There's a difference between the two, huh? Because that only tells the humor, the sense of humor of Prabhupada. Because in order to wash, you have to first have. How can you wash something you don't have? So we're, first of all, let's give the brain. Then we can speak about washing. And then he said, I don't understand you people from the West. Is washing bad? If something is dirty, washing is bad? You know, it's like you have your shirt is dirty, and he washed his shirt. It was dirty, and now, so what's the problem? What's the problem? Washing is good. So, these little encounters, Los Angeles, Israel, Colombia, Venezuela, Mayapur, and so on. Those are experiences that I hope I can remember at the time of death. Because, you know, it says, you know, according to your mentality at the time of death, that is where your future is. So, the first condition, showing mercy, giving knowledge, distributing what we have, the treasure. We can do so many things, but always trying to bring people to Krishna because they're looking for Krishna and they don't know it. So at this point I would like to thank you that you had so much patience to listen to me. And the second thing is that if you have any question that you would like to ask, I am here for you.
Prabhu, you continue.
How much we relishing because we have love for Srila Prabhupada.
So we are very fortunate today to hear from His Grace Havi Prabhu about his nice communication with Srila Prabhupada, how his faith became very much condensed in association of Srila Prabhupada. So often it is said that every Acharya has own a special mood, just like Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He is described as logician. Why? He would prove even Rasha Tattva Bhakti Rasha from Veda slokas from Vedas, Upanishads, and many other Vedic literatures. And Jiva Goswami, he is a special for his tattvas. He would prove everything from tattva point of view. That is why often he would be addressed as mathematician. Okay. On the other hand, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he could discuss even many Asuras insult to Lord Krishna or any other avatar in a very sweet way. That is why he was often called as musician. And Srila Prabhupada, our Srila Prabhupada, is actually a magician who can connect bhakti to anything, any karma, yoga, jnana, whatever is there in the sloka, he can connect bhakti with any sloka from any scripture. In the same way, Srila Prabhupada can connect any people from any background to bhakti. That's we can see a proof of this line from the life of His Grace Havi Prabhu, who was from the beginning of his life was a musician from his childhood, because his parents are from the music background, and Srila Prabhupada nicely connected him through his nice qualities of musical performances. So we can see some, we can watch some highlights from his life. So his previous name was Elan Chester, and he's very much famous in this name in the outside world even. And internationally, he is recognized for musical performance, both in ISKCON and outside even. And he was born in July 30, 1952, and raised in Venezuela in a Jewish family. And from the beginning of his life, he had a very deep interest in music and spirituality. So how he connected to Krishna consciousness? In the early 1970s, he met Srila Prabhupada. We have already heard that how he got the book. And by reading that book and getting the halwa, he was fully convinced about Krishna conscious philosophy and Krishna conscious person's character. And that is why he accepted brahmachari life in the beginning of his Krishna consciousness. And he distributed many books. He performed kirtan and other music performances for the service of Lord Krishna. And in 1970s, only when he connected, after some months or some period, he got initiation from His Divine Grace S.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And he used his fame and talents to serve ISKCON and promote Krishna consciousness. And different services we can see from here, and how he contributed in the society of Krishna consciousness. He preached extensively in Latin America and globally through music, concerts, and public engagements. He composed and performed devotional music that blends traditional bhakti themes with Latin themes. So all of us know about Josh Harrison, who connected bhakti with music. So there are different themes, but in the by hearing those themes, hardly could one realize that this person is a pure Krishna conscious person. But whatever he would present is actually a Krishna conscious song. Whether there is Radharani, there is Krishna, there is Gopabalak. Similarly, our Havi Prabhu, Havi Prabhu, he composed many songs about Lord Krishna, Radharani, Vrindavan, but hardly outside people could realize that it is Krishna conscious. Okay. But by hearing those nice songs, people connected to Krishna. That is the specialty. That is why Srila Prabhupada is magician. His stalwart devotees or disciples are also magician. Okay, and later on, he is a prominent kirtan leader known for heartfelt and musically rich and chanting, and he helped bridge cultural gaps by presenting Krishna consciousness in Spanish-speaking countries, especially through art and music. And he was recognized for using his mainstream fame to attract people to spiritual life. Also, he got award from government and different organizations for promoting culture, for, for promoting music and different arts. So these are the awards he achieved. And he has recorded devotional albums and performed at ISKCON festivals worldwide. Okay. And he still is serving as a devotional musician and kirtan leader, and a spiritual teacher and mentor, especially within Latin America and many other countries, and a cultural ambassador integrating art and spirituality. So there is a nice story about Havi Prabhu. For the first time when he saw Srila Prabhupada, that time he was offered to wash the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada, and he was confused what to do. There are many ingredients. There are ghee, then this honey, many other things are there. And he didn't know the sequence, what to put first, what to put last. He didn't know. He thought that maybe it is a process because he is coming from a far place. So his feet may be very much warm. So it should be cooled. So that is why he has started giving one after another ingredients. But he did the opposite. He has started from what? He has started from ghee. Then he offered honey. Then he gave dahi. Then he gave the milk. And then sugar water. Completely opposite. And then he has started massaging the lotus feet, even the toes. So everyone was seeing at him. Those who are elder, they could recognize that it is not a good process to do Prada Pakshalan. But Srila Prabhupada was very happy that he was innocently serving Srila Prabhupada. And after doing all these things, nicely massaging the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada, he took the charonodak and he drank it, and he also sprinkled it over all the devotees. So that is one nice pastime described by Prabhuji in his talk, in another talk. So I was hearing another conversation with a devotee. There I got very nice two qualities of Havi Prabhu, especially. So he said that I have a good friend. This friend is Vaisheshika Prabhu. And I cannot live without him. He was telling with such intensity that I cannot live without him. Now every day I talk with him, I read with him, even I do different musical performances with him. I cannot think about my existence without Vaisheshika Prabhu. So most of the times we take shelter of Guru, we take shelter of Krishna. It is obviously good and it is our goal. At the same time, we should take shelter of somebody who are around us always. So greatest treasure of our life is to have such kind of Krishna conscious friendship. And if we have such Krishna conscious friendship, then what will happen? Mito rati, mito tushti, nivritta mitatmanaha. In the 11th canto of Bhagavatam, it is described that Parashpara Anukathanam Pavanam Bhagavati Yashaha Mitorati Mitatushti Nivrittami Atmanaha. Parashpara Anukathanam. When two devotees are coming together, and what they are doing? Are they doing some prajalpa? Are they doing some gossip? Are they blaspheming other devotees, talking about others' criticism? No. What they will do? Parashpara Anukathanam. What they heard from their spiritual master, what they heard from scriptures, they will talk about that. Parashpara Anukathanam Pavanam Bhagavati Yashaha. And they will speak about Lord's glories. And in this way, what will happen? Mito roti, their attraction for each other will increase. Mito tushti, their satisfaction will increase. And finally, nivritta mita atmanaha, and there all the desires for sense gratification, all the desires for own glorification, many other kutinati pratishta, all whatever we have in our heart, that will be fully evaporated by this process. So that is one nice teaching I have got from his life, to have nice friendship based on Krishna. And second one is that after the departure of Srila Prabhupada, there is so much anarchy. So many devotees left Prabhupada mission, and so many became deviated here and there. So many took initiation from other gurus, other sampradayas. Many things happened. But some of the devotees who took seriously, who took Krishna consciousness seriously, they remained faithful in Krishna conscious movement. One of such devotees is Havi Prabhu. Why I am saying so? Because after the departure of Srila Prabhupada, he entered into Grihastha ashram from Brahmacharya ashram, and there are so many troubles around him, and there are no support, no financial support. And since they have dedicated their youth life for Prabhupada's mission, they didn't have any chance to have their livelihood from any job, any other things, because they have given their youth age to Srila Prabhupada's mission. Now it is a great challenge. And in that moment, what happened? Krishna gave him a great idea to propagate mission through music, and also to have their simple livelihood through this performance of music. So he got that idea from Lord Krishna, from Srila Prabhupada, and he used his musical performances where he glorified Lord Krishna, and he got little earning by which he performed he maintained his livelihood. And we can see that actually a person's character is being judged when there are so many provoking situations. Okay, when everything is good, everyone can nicely behave, but when the situation is going wrong, situation is going against us, how we are behaving, that is the main question. So a provoking situation is an opportunity to develop our good qualities if we do not have. And if we have good qualities, we can demonstrate. So either you develop or demonstrate. In both the way, provoking situation is a chance to grow in bhakti. That we can see in the life of Havi Prabhu, though there are so many obstacles, so many problems, but he continued his journey. And he again came into mainstream. He again preached in different countries. And in this way, Srila Prabhupada is a real touchstone who created many touchstones. We think that touchstone means who creates general metal into gold. It's called touchstone. But real touchstone is which creates touchstone, not only creates gold or any other metals. Okay, that touchstone is Srila Prabhupada. And we can see all the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, they are also touchstone. They are creating so many nice jewels. Just like you can see how His Holiness Bhakti Swami Guru Maharaj, he created so many touchstones here in our Bhakti Prema Maharaj and others. So they are making many other touchstones. So in this way, actually, it is a good combination of all the qualities in different devotees, which actually makes our whole movement a success. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I'm grateful to all the devotees, especially those who are organizing these nice sessions. So please bless me so that I can continue my devotional practices and remain grateful to the process, to the devotees who have given us such a nice lifestyle, such a nice opportunity to do little bhakti. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Dandavat Pranam.